out loud. Shocking, Baylen's fiancé Colin drops a bombshell just hours after proposing to her with a ring. Baylen Out Loud star Colin Dooley stunned everyone with his shocking news after a few hours of having an engagement with Baylen. The finale episode of the first season finally showed the two getting engaged. This happened after they dated for 2 years. Colin serves in the American Air Force as a body bearer in the Honor Guard. Colin takes part in Air Force funerals to bear the caskets of deceased service members. He and Baylen make a great couple. They moved to Washington, D.C. to start their new life together before the wedding. His proposal to Baylen was the sweetest one. He gave an intense speech about their 2-year-long relationship to tear up Baylen. What ultimate shocker did Colin give? Will it split the lovebirds? Baylen Dupree overwhelmed viewers with her statement, saying her partner Colin is a medicine for her life's problems. He stays by her side while she is on her journey with Tourette syndrome. In the series trailer, she also affectionately calls him the world's best boyfriend, whom she looks up to. Colin hails from Virginia, United States. He graduated from William Byrd High School in 2019. During one episode, he opened up about his upbringing. He said his parents have raised him in a very traditional way. He further explained that his girlfriend's tics sometimes create awkward moments for him, but he has adjusted to them. When Baylen blurted she was pregnant and clarified later on, Colin told her he felt like hiding under a pillow. Colin Dooley finally received a call from the Air Force to relocate to their given place. As it occurred, things on Baylen Out season took an unexpected turn. This twist came right after he put on the engagement ring on Baylen's finger. In a confessional scene, he talked about waiting a whole year to get the orders to shift to anywhere in America or foreign. Colin knew where he might have to locate but wanted to break the news to Baylen's family at the right time. Since he felt the day had arrived, the 24-year-old said he didn't wish for a long-distance relationship with Baylen. Baylen was clearly afraid, unaware of how her family would react to it. Alan, Julie, Sammy, and Burke all started to panic when they heard Colin say he would take Baylen with him. This made Alan angry, but out of nowhere, the news turned out to be good rather than bad. Colin surprised everyone by stating he wasn't leaving where he was currently staying. He will finish his 2-year contract. Baylen added that it's the best kind of news hours after the engagement. Alan sighed and admitted to feeling a big relief. Julie, who was starting to feel sick to her stomach, agreed to her husband's reaction. Despite Colin not relocating, he won't wait for too long after the engagement. Baylen spills wedding details with fiancé Colin. Countdown to I Do begins. As the sun began to set on a crisp Saturday afternoon, the world turned its attention to the highly anticipated wedding of Baylen and Colin. For weeks, rumors swirled about the details of their nuptials, leaving fans and loved ones on the edge of their seats. Now, as the countdown to their big day officially begins, Baylen decided to open up and spill all the juicy details about their wedding plans. The couple's journey to this moment has been filled with love, joy, and a little bit of chaos. From their initial meeting to their surprise engagement, Baylen and Colin's story is nothing short of a modern fairy tale. Baylen, known for his vibrant personality and openness, has always been a source of entertainment for his followers. His social media platforms have offered glimpses into his life, including the beautiful and at times hilarious moments with his fiancé Colin. But it wasn't until recently that Baylen began sharing the intimate details of their wedding planning process. It's no secret that the couple has been deeply in love from the moment they met, and Baylen's excitement about their upcoming nuptials is palpable. "I can't believe it's actually happening," Baylen says with a wide grin, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "It feels like just yesterday I was meeting Colin for the first time. And now, here we are, planning our dream wedding. It's surreal." Baylen goes on to describe the special bond they've built over the years, from late-night conversations to spontaneous adventures, all of which have brought them closer to the moment where they'll say, "I do." As for Colin, the typically quieter of the two, he smiles warmly as Baylen takes the lead, effortlessly sharing the details of their plans. But there's no mistaking the joy on his face. I never thought I'd find someone like Baylen, he admits. He's not just my partner, he's my best friend. This wedding means everything to both of us. Before diving into the wedding details, it's only fitting to look back at the story of how Colin popped the question. Baylen recalls the moment with fondness. It was one of those perfect nights, he begins. We were at a little cabin in the mountains, just the two of us. Colin had planned a surprise dinner for us, and I had no idea what was coming. As the night went on, he handed me a small box, and inside was a ring that took my breath away. The proposal, as Baylen describes it, was filled with emotion. He asked me to marry him in the most beautiful way possible. There were candles, flowers, and the backdrop of the mountains. I couldn't have imagined a more perfect moment. Colin, who's known for his reserved nature, surprised Baylen with his heartfelt words. I just knew it was the right time, Colin explains. I wanted to make sure the proposal was something we would both remember forever. After Baylen said yes, the couple celebrated their engagement in a way that only they could, by sharing the news with their closest family and friends through a surprise party. I wanted to keep the proposal intimate, but I also wanted to share the joy with the people we love, Baylen says. It was a night full of laughter, tears, and a lot of dancing. With the engagement behind them, Baylen and Colin immediately began brainstorming their vision for the wedding. We knew we wanted something that felt true to us, Baylen says. Nothing too traditional, but still classy and elegant. We wanted to be a reflection of our personalities and everything we've built together. For Baylen, this meant incorporating a blend of modern touches with sentimental elements. I love the idea of using a color palette that's bold yet sophisticated. Something like deep emerald green, gold accents, and a little bit of white and blush. It's going to be elegant but with a pop of fun, Baylen shares enthusiastically. We want our guests to feel like they're part of the experience, so we're focusing a lot on making the venue warm and welcoming. One of the most important aspects of the wedding for Baylen and Colin is making sure it feels personal. We're not doing anything just because it's what people expect, Baylen says. If we want something quirky or unconventional, we're going for it. Our wedding should feel like it's about us and no one else. As for the venue, Baylen and Colin have chosen a stunning location. A rustic yet chic vineyard nestled in the countryside. We wanted a place that felt like a hidden gem, Baylen explains. It's beautiful, intimate, and the perfect setting for our vows. Plus, the wine is incredible, of course. No wedding is complete without the perfect attire, and Baylen has been eagerly sharing his journey to finding the ideal outfit. I knew I wanted something that was unique but also timeless, Baylen reveals. I've tried on a few suits, but none of them felt like the one, until I found it. The suit is tailored to perfection, and the fabric is just the right combination of luxurious and comfortable. As for Colin's attire, Baylen laughs when asked if there were any disagreements on the style. Oh, we had a bit of back and forth, Baylen admits. I wanted him to wear something a bit more adventurous, but Colin was all about the classic look. In the end, we compromised. He'll be wearing a tailored tuxedo with a modern twist. It'll be perfect for him. But the biggest surprise, according to Baylen, is the bridesmaids' dresses. I'm not just picking out one style and calling it a day. I want the girls to feel amazing in what they're wearing. Each dress is going to be custom made for each bridesmaid, and I can't wait for them to see the final designs. When it comes to the ceremony itself, Baylen and Colin have big plans. We're keeping the ceremony relatively short and sweet, Baylen says. But we're going to write our own vows. We want our words to come from the heart, so it's not going to be just a formality. It's going to be emotional. Colin agrees, adding, we want our vows to feel personal, not like something out of a textbook. We're going to speak from the heart and tell each other exactly how we feel in that moment. Baylen's excitement is evident as he talks about the ceremony. I can already picture it. The venue will be set up with beautiful flowers, a gorgeous arch, and guests all around. It'll be intimate, but full of love. That's the most important part for us, making it meaningful. After the ceremony, Baylen and Colin's reception is sure to be a lively and memorable event. We want our reception to be a celebration of love, laughter, and of course, great music, Baylen says. We're hiring a live band because there's nothing like dancing to live music. Plus, we've got a few surprises planned throughout the night, so it won't just be your typical wedding reception. One of the surprises Baylen is most excited about is the grand entrance. We're coming into the reception together, hand in hand, and we've got some fun choreography planned, he teases. It's going to be a moment to remember. The couple also has plans for an elaborate dessert table, complete with a custom wedding cake that incorporates their favorite flavors. We're going with a chocolate hazelnut cake because it's my absolute favorite, Baylen says, grinning. And of course, we'll have other treats for our guests to enjoy, like mini cupcakes and macarons. As the day draws closer, Baylen reflects on what this wedding means to him. It's not just about the party or the event. It's about celebrating the love that Colin and I share, Baylen says. It's about taking this next step in our journey together, and I couldn't be more excited for what's ahead. For Colin, the significance of the day is clear. This wedding is just the beginning, he says. It's the start of a lifetime of adventures with the person I love the most. I'm looking forward to everything that comes next. And as for the wedding itself, Baylen and Colin are ready. It's going to be a day full of love, laughter, and memories that will last a lifetime, Baylen says. I can't wait to say I do and start the next chapter of our lives together. The countdown to their wedding day has officially begun and the excitement is building. For Baylen and Colin, it's not just about the details. It's about creating a day that reflects their love, their journey, and the future they're about to build together. As the big day approaches, all eyes will be on this dynamic duo, eagerly awaiting their celebration of love and commitment. Is Baylen Dupree independent enough to live on her own? Baylen Dupree, a young woman navigating the complexities of adulthood, is often faced with questions about her independence. The journey of self-sufficiency, emotionally, financially, and physically, can be an immense challenge. And for someone like Baylen, this process is ongoing. Is she independent enough to live on her own? The answer is nuanced, considering her background, her current life circumstances, and the support systems available to her. Growing up in a supportive family, Baylen has always had a safety net to fall back on. Her parents were diligent in providing her with the emotional and financial support that many might consider a privilege. But the true test of independence often comes when one is faced with the responsibility of managing life's demands without relying on others. While Baylen's parents have always been a strong presence in her life, as she nears the point where living independently is an option, the question remains: is she truly ready to take on the full spectrum of adult responsibilities? Financial independence is one of the most crucial aspects of living on your own. Baylen has always been good with money, or so it seems. She has a part-time job that she balances with schoolwork, but it has never been enough to fully support herself. The challenge here is that, although she can cover some of her expenses, the thought of paying rent, utilities, and groceries on her own is daunting. At the same time, Baylen has an entrepreneurial spirit. She has been exploring side gigs that could potentially supplement her income, like freelancing or selling handmade goods online. However, the level of financial independence required to sustain a full life on her own still feels a bit out of reach. The reality of the financial demands is a major barrier to full independence. Beyond finances, emotional independence plays a critical role in the equation. Baylen is a strong-willed person, but she also tends to lean on others when facing stress or uncertainty. She often seeks advice or comfort from friends or family, which is natural for anyone transitioning into adulthood. However, when living independently, one has to develop the emotional resilience to handle the challenges that arise without relying heavily on others. Baylen has struggled with her own emotional independence at times, particularly in the face of challenges such as relationship troubles or academic pressures. Living on her own could provide her with the space to grow emotionally. but it could also bring up new insecurities or anxieties that would need to be navigated without a built-in support system right next door. The practical skills necessary for living independently are another area where Baylen shows promise, but also room for growth. She has learned the basics of cooking, cleaning, and taking care of herself over the years, but the daily demands of keeping a home can feel overwhelming. Laundry, meal planning, and maintaining a balanced routine are all aspects of living alone that Baylen has not yet fully mastered. Though she is capable of taking care of herself for short periods of time, the long-term maintenance of independence may require her to fine-tune her organizational skills and time management. Learning to juggle the responsibilities of a home, a job, and other obligations can be stressful, especially when things don't go as planned. It is in these moments that Baylen's true independence will be tested. One of the key factors influencing Baylen's independence is her social support network. She has a close-knit group of friends who provide emotional and practical support, and her family remains a reliable resource. While it's important to have these connections, living alone means having to take on more of the responsibility for one's own well-being. While Baylen could still turn to her friends and family when necessary, part of growing into adulthood involves taking responsibility for one's own decisions and managing the consequences of those choices. The ability to make decisions independently and take responsibility for them is a sign of maturity, and it's an area where Baylen is still learning and growing. Baylen's academic life also plays a significant role in determining her readiness for independence. As a student, she is juggling the pressures of studying, socializing, and managing personal growth. The academic environment can be supportive, but it also creates stress, particularly as deadlines approach or grades are in question. Living on her own could allow Baylen to focus more on her studies, but it could also increase feelings of isolation or loneliness, making it harder for her to manage the emotional toll of school. Being able to balance self-care, academic responsibility, and social life is something Baylen is working on, and living independently might push her to confront these challenges head-on. Another aspect of independence is the ability to navigate life's unexpected challenges. Whether it's dealing with a broken appliance, an unexpected bill, or a sudden personal crisis, these are all things that must be managed when living independently. Baylen has had some exposure to this kind of responsibility, especially when things went wrong in her life before. But doing so on a consistent basis is a different story. Her ability to stay calm, resourceful, and proactive in the face of such challenges will be a key indicator of how prepared she is to live on her own. Her friends and family can offer advice, but ultimately the responsibility will fall on her shoulders. So, is Baylen independent enough to live on her own? In many ways, she has the potential to thrive in an independent living situation. She is resourceful, determined, and willing to learn new skills to manage her life more effectively. However, the journey of true independence is one that takes time, and there are areas, such as financial stability, emotional resilience, and practical life skills, where Baylen still has room to grow. Living independently is not an all-or-nothing situation, though. It's possible for Baylen to take gradual steps toward independence, starting by living in a shared space with roommates or in a supportive environment. Over time, as she gains confidence in managing her own finances, emotional health, and practical responsibilities, she can transition into living completely on her own. Independence is not an instant achievement, but rather a gradual process that requires both preparation and adaptation. In the end, Baylen's ability to live independently will depend on her willingness to embrace challenges, learn from her experiences, and continue to grow into the person she hopes to be. While she may not be fully independent just yet, she is certainly on the path to becoming more self-sufficient, and that journey is just as important as the destination itself.